Hey guys, it's Brian here, and welcome back to another review for the TheH0RR0Rman's Slashback Challenge. And the theme that TheH0RR0Rman has set for this week is titled Sequel Slashers. And the film I chose to review this week is 1990's Maniac Cop 2. This film was directed by William Lustig, and this film pretty much has a decent cast of character actors. We have Bruce Campbell, Claudia Christensen, Robert Davi, Lauren Landon, let's see, Clarence Williams III, and then a really quick cameo by Danny Trejo. Um, Now, essentially, with this film, you really do need to watch the first film before checking this one out because this one begins right where the last one left off, with the Maniac cop being dispatched of. So, now in the original film, Bruce Campbell and Lauren Landon were the leads, but this film, for some reason, decides to switch them out. Like they're still in the film, but they're not very in it. They're not in it for very long, which I think was kind of a mistake because they had a whole plot structure for this film, but they chose to go in another direction with it. When this film begins, both Bruce Campbell's character and Lauren Landon, they're kind of on probation because of the events of the first film, and they're forced to go see the police psychiatrist played by Claudia Christian. So she's talking to them, and they're trying to get back on the force, but they're not going to let them back on because they keep talking about the crazy zombie cop killer or killer cop. So, you know, and it's also weird too because they go back, since it's a sequel, they do rehash what happened to him in the first film. Essentially, in the first film, Robert Dazar's character, Matt Cordell, or whatever you pronounce his name, he's a cop and he gets framed for a crime he didn't commit by some crooked cops. He ends up going to prison and he's murdered in prison. Then he comes back as a zombie cop. It's really weird because in this film, he essentially most people he kills in this film are cops and innocent people. Like he seems indifferent to like the criminals in the film. He doesn't really kill the criminals. It's just like you think he would go after criminals, and you think that the cops in this film would be portrayed as being all crooked, but they're not for some reason, which is kind of strange. Um, Now Robert Davi, he's a detective in this one, and he kind of threw me off with the casting because by the looks of him, he looks like he's like a mob guy. So I figured that he would be playing like a criminal in this movie, but he's not. He's actually a detective, like a Dirty Harry type of detective, and he ends up on the trail of the maniac cop in this one. Now, this film, the kill sequences aren't really all that great, but the action sequences are what really sell this movie. Like, there are really some really great car chases in this, and there's also a great runaway car sequence as well that has a person hanging off the side, which they really shot because this was the 90s and they didn't have CGI, um, which looked kind of dangerous. So, like for his budget, it did quite well. I'd be really interested to see what William Lustig could have done with an action movie because he did a really good job on this one. There's also a great sequence too with a raid on the police station, which was cool. It reminded me of the Terminator movie. There's also a bizarre side plot with another serial killer that's stalking strippers, and I think that's just there just to get more nudity in the movie, which is I guess fine with me. And the guy that they got to be that serial killer kind of looks like Mick Foley, the wrestler, like really hairy face and stuff like that. Not as big though, and he was kind of funny in the film as well. It was added a lot of weird camp and stuff. This is a pretty cool film. Like I like the look of the maniac cop in this one. They kept his face like in shadows, which is kind of cool, so you didn't get too good of a look of at the face, and he was menacing enough. Um, I just wish they kept Bruce Campbell in it and Lauren Landon. She had really big hair in this, but of course it was the early '90s, so that was the fashion. But her hair was like way too big. It was almost distracting. All right, guys, that's a review for this week for Maniac Cop 2. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And make sure to check out Joe's review as well as everybody else's. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you all next time.